And the development land deals, guys, this is more of a blue ocean. There's not nearly as much competition, and you don't have hundreds of wholesalers going after the same properties and hitting the same lists. So our angle here, guys, is tapping into this unspoken ecosystem of development opportunities that, quite honestly, they don't want you as wholesalers to know about, because we're taking our assignment fees and we're simply adding commas to those. Think about 250K, 500,000, multi-million dollar paydays just for finding these off-market gems. As a real estate wholesaler, it's super important to be able to pivot in the middle of a market shift. Now, here's what we're doing as an organization to make sure that we can maintain momentum and keep the deal flow moving as these hedge funds are starting to get more conservative with the offers in the midst of these seasons. But the time is now to make sure that you're pivoting and maintaining the momentum in the middle of this massive market shift. Now, God has been gently nudging me and poking me to start shifting our focus towards bigger deals and bigger opportunities. Now, this is the perfect season and the perfect storm when all the other real estate investors and wholesalers are still flocking towards the single family real estate in this red ocean. We are heading to the blue ocean, moving towards land development opportunities and big multifamily deals. Let's go ahead and get in the trenches, guys, and make some power moves to put us a step above the competition. All right, so we got to head out to Old South Drive to check on the progress of this rehab project. Now, our team's been having to adapt all of our strategies around this market shift, as a lot of our platform was leveraged on the hedge fund offers. I'd much rather take a wholesale opportunity and off it to the big institutions without having to fix it or lay a finger on it. It's the quickest and easiest way to make fat paydays, right? Now, let me be clear. These hedge funds are not going anywhere. They're here to stay. They're continuing to buy. I've heard a lot of people saying our hedge funds dropped off. They're not buying anymore. Most of our big players are still in the game, and they're still making offers on the properties. They've just gotten more conservative than we're used to. The seasons of expecting 100% ARV offers on wholesale deals are not in existence, at least right now in the marketplace. I can say we're probably landing between 80 to 85% based on what we've been seeing the numbers this past month. And we expect to see it sitting there at least until we can establish a bottom. So what we're looking at in the big picture is the big institutions who have a fiduciary responsibility to the investors. Yes, they have to fill the investment vehicle. They have to buy properties and opportunities, but they have to be conservative until we can establish how far down this market goes and we establish that bottom. Once we find the bottom, you best believe they're turning on that house buying machine and they're going to get super aggressive and start cleaning house. So in this season, I'm calling it the holding pattern, right? Because a lot of people have absolutely no idea where the market's going. Institutional investors, retail investors, the people at the top of Wall Street and all the way down to your average Joe, there's a lot of uncertainty across the entire market. So what can we expect? We can expect people being a lot more held back, a lot more conservative, at least until we can establish how low this thing goes. And once we establish that bottom, it's time to get out there and scoop up some assets. Warren Buffett says it best, where you make money when you buy and not when you sell, right? So the play is finding the bottom of the market and capitalizing on opportunities within. So let's talk about what we're doing and where we're going in the middle of this lag period, right? Because it's going to take a few months for the retail sellers to catch up to where the market is going. So our team has been working towards acquiring large tracts of land. We're talking 5 acres and up in target markets across the Sun Belt region of the United States. Now, why is land development such a huge and crucial play? Because these developers still have an appetite to develop deals. With COVID-19 shutting the world down and tons of people flocking down south to get out of these highly congested areas, there's still an inventory shortage. There's still a huge demand for houses. And some of our developer buddies simply said this: in order to keep the engine and the machine going and to keep payroll floating, we're willing to buy these assets and not really turn much of a profit, but we have to continue and keep the machine moving, right? They're thinking big picture and long-term real estate. We don't see it dropping off too dramatically yet. But of course, at this point in the market, it's all speculation. So it's just going to come down to letting the cards play out and seeing where it goes. But the best advice that I could give any real estate wholesaler in the industry right now is to pivot your focus and start looking for untapped opportunities that are everywhere in the marketplace. Now, the unique skill set that we have as real estate wholesalers in being able to identify and locate off-market properties, it's an incredible leg up from real estate agents and most other professionals. To be honest, these developers don't have as much strategic marketing ability as we do as wholesalers to actually locate these off-market gems. Yes, they have tools and technologies and they know how to navigate and use the GIS map at a high level, but we have the tools and the systems to contact massive owners and sellers to find these off-market gems. So what's the play, guys? The play is finding land that can be developed that's close proximity to cities and the suburbs across the southeastern United States. I'd say there's a hyper focus in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida at this current moment. But anything is free game. So we've been setting up standard operating procedures around the land development, and we've taken the roadmap on what we've been given from our development buddies. We've putting together a strategy and a process so that we can empower more investors to give you guys the insight and the tools to start targeting some of these off-market opportunities. These fields are ripe for harvest, and I believe that there's never been a better opportunity to look and get into finding and sourcing raw land opportunities that we have the infrastructure built out to take it through the entitlement process, to clean it up, put it in a clean package, to be able to position and sell to a builder. That's the leg up that we have inside of this marketplace, and the skill sets and the abilities as a team and as a collective to keep these deals in motion and to put the pieces together, to partner up with the people inside of our ecosystem and bring these opportunities to the closing table. So here's my biggest takeaway as investors. Guys, we have to remain moldable. No matter what the market conditions and the market climate looks like, we have to be able to shift our perspective, and we have to be able to pivot in the midst of these market cycles. So what I do as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is I'm looking for the easiest barrier of entry, or I'm looking for an area that's a little bit more untapped than most. And the development land deals, guys, this is more of a blue ocean. There's not nearly as much competition, and you don't have hundreds of wholesalers going after the same properties and hitting the same lists. So our angle here, guys, is tapping into this unspoken ecosystem of development opportunities that, quite honestly, they don't want you as wholesalers to know about, because we're taking our assignment fees and we're simply adding commas to those. Think about $250K, $500,000, multi-million-dollar paydays just for finding these off-market gems.